Might be my like hot take of the video, and I know other people that hate this map. I'm gonna put it S tier. In this video, I'm gonna be ranking every ranked map in Rainbow Six Siege. First, we're starting with Chalet. Chalet is very solid, pretty good all around. It's really two site dominant. The other sites they're okay if you have a really good stack, but they're kind of difficult to hold in that regard. So I think it's an okay map. I think it's not like perfectly balanced. I don't think it's like the most fun, but it is a lot better than other ones. So I think that's gonna put it into B tier for me. Pretty good, pretty solid. Next we have Lair, this is the new map that came out, and now that I've had, about half a season to really play it and see how it plays, there's a lot of things I really like about how it plays, and then there's a couple that I don't love. I don't love how big it is. It doesn't play too bad compared to some other large maps, but I overall just don't really love huge maps. That's just my preference. That's something I don't love about it. And the other thing I really don't like is a lot of the attacker spawns take a long time just to get to the building. It's just a weird mechanic that wastes a bunch of time and just results in not very fun gameplay. So, but besides those two things, I think the sites play in a fun way, and I think they're pretty interesting and somewhat balanced. So overall, I think it's quite good. I'm gonna put it in C tier for now, but I want to see how the rest of these maps kind of land, and it could move up or stay where it's at depending on that. So I think it's going to go C tier for right now. Next is Nighthaven Labs, and this gets banned a lot, and I don't really understand that because I find it to be actually a pretty good map that plays pretty well. It's not my favorite map. I don't have the most fun on it, and I've been playing Siege for a long time, so I do kind of favor some of the older maps, but I do like it. I do like how it plays. So I think that's going to land it in C tier as well. Is it better than Lair? Or is it worse than Lair? I'm gonna say it's a little worse. I just don't love playing it, and the basement site on Nighthaven is, as long as you have an attacking team that knows what they're doing, the attackers win it most of the time. You can get really easy vertical control, and it's not very hard to open the wall with that, and then how easy it is to just kind of like sneak down one of the two staircases. If the defenders aren't really ready for everything, which it's hard to be when there's that many things to watch, it can be kind of attacker favored. And the upstairs site is the other default site, and that one's okay. It's an alright map. I don't mind how it plays, but it's never going to be my favorite, so it's C tier. Next we have Emerald Plains. So this map sucks, right? It's trash. Do I even have to talk about this? We all know, everyone understands. Next map, Bank. I like Bank. I actually think it plays quite well. I know some people don't love Bank, but I think overall it's pretty balanced. The first four sites aren't great. I mean, that's most maps though, so I'm not gonna knock it too badly for that. So I think it's gonna end up in B tier. Maybe these two should go up. Maybe those are A tier maps. Yeah. I think those are A tier maps now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe there just isn't that many maps I actually like. Those maps are pretty good, so we'll put them into A tier. I like Bank more than Chalet, so I'm gonna put that just above it. I just like how it plays more. Maybe that's just because it fits my style more, I don't know. But I find Bank to be quite fun and pretty balanced overall, attacker and defender wise. So I think that's where it's gonna go. It's gonna go into A tier for me. Next I have Border, and this might be my hot take of the video. I love Border. I know other people that love Border, and I know other people that hate this map. I'm gonna put it S tier. Now, it's not gonna end up being the best map in the game, but I really enjoy playing it. I think it's really fun. It has multiple sites that play well. You have your armory top floor site obviously, and then you have bathroom tellers, and you have workshop. I think all of those sites are quite good, and to have 3 sites that are balanced and fun to play on a map is not very common. It's usually in top floor and basement, so I think that's something that this map does really well. The downsides of this map are that L outside with the arches. It's kind of annoying to push up as an attacker. It can be a pretty important spot to hold, and the runouts on it are just kind of annoying, just kind of the nature of the map, and the window looking over to AC and just things like that. And I like having some runouts and some balance, but there's quite a few on this map, and I think that's the only thing that hurts it for me a little bit. But next we have Clubhouse. I think this is probably the most balanced map in the game. I don't find it to be my favorite or the most fun, just because we've been playing it for so long and it gets picked a lot, just because it is a quite good map. With that said, I think it's the most balanced. It doesn't give a huge advantage to attackers or defenders, which is different than many of the maps And one thing that's nice about this map is it has 3 good sites on defense. Aren't necessarily defender favored, but they're not super attacker favored either. Most maps have the 2. This one has 3. It's got the 2 upstairs sites and the basement one. So I think that's kind of what helps it a lot. You can kind of play different styles in all 3 of those sites, and they all play quite differently. So I think, depending on how your team plays and kind of what kind of strategies you have, you can kind of argue any of those sites being best for you and your team. So I think that's what makes it fun and balanced, and that's what's going to get it up into S tier for me. Next we have Coastline, and Coastline is okay. I don't love playing this map. I just don't find it to be the most fun. Decently balanced. I mean, you have Hookah Billiards, which is like the go-to, but I don't think it's as good of a site as people think it is. And then you have like Penthouse Theater, which is okay. I think Kitchen and Service Entrance. So none of the sites are great, but they're not like bad. It's not necessarily like attacker favored. Maybe I'm just not good at it. But I don't enjoy this map very much. With that said, it sounds like I hate it, but I'm actually going to put it into B tier. It's overall like a decently balanced map, definitely deserves to be in the rank pool. It's just never going to be my favorite, but I will take it over some of the bad ones. So I think that's going to put it into B tier for me. I feel like I bashed it kind of hard, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. My ranking though is B tier because I do understand that it is quite a decent map. Next we have Consulate. This is going to be out of my perspective on all these reworked maps like this. I like small tweaks and light reworks like Clubhouse, like Oregon, but Consulate had quite a facelift, and I find that doesn't work very well. They did that with the old Hereford base, and they basically just made a new map. I mean, sure, some things look similar, but it's basically brand new, and Consulate is very similar to that. I think there are things that are better about this than the old map, and there are things that are worse. I hate like overly congested, too many rooms, like maps like that, maps like, I don't know, Tower, for example, where there's just a million rooms. I don't really like how those play, and I find Consulate to be kind of like that now. That's one thing I think it does worse than the previous version, but I think the sites themselves are a little more balanced, and it's not as much window play as it was before. I think that's how you spent half your attack round on windows before, like on top floor and things like that. So I don't know if it's better or worse than the old version. It's just, it moved sideways. It didn't go up or down for me. I'm gonna put it into D tier. I don't enjoy playing this map, and I don't think it's that great. Next ranked map we have is Cafe. Cafe is the map for me that is never bad enough to be banned, but I don't like it. Like, there is always 2 other maps that I'd ban over it, but I would love to ban this map. I don't enjoy playing it. It's got 2 decent sites, and the other ones are just not necessarily terrible, but they are just objectively worse than the top floor and basement. And I don't like I was talking about with the old Consulate, the window play on the top floor is really important, and I just find that to be kind of like tedious and boring to sit on the windows for a full minute, and it's all like, then you just drop red, and you have your guy droning you in, and you try to swing, and you just have to get your kill, otherwise the round's over. I mean, that's kind of how every site works, but I think Cafe is especially bad with this, where there's no, on other maps, if you want, a strategy can be to enter in the other side of the building and then work your way slowly over, and it doesn't work like that on this. Like, a top floor, what side are you pushing in from? Like, the whole thing is basically the site. They're holding pretty much every room. It just makes it kind of awkward. You either have to drop hatches or try to go up the 2 staircases, which red is like hatch and staircase, so there's really not that many points of entry. So I just find that kind of gameplay kind of annoying. With that said, it's not terrible. It's okay. So I think I'm gonna put it into C tier, but I don't love this map, so it's gonna go below these other 2. And I know people probably don't like Nighthaven last, but it just plays better objectively. And while they're not perfect maps, I think it's better than Cafe. With that said, I actually, looking at C tier right now, I think Layer is better than these 2 maps. I do have my annoying things about Layer that I don't like, but I think it plays pretty well, so I'm going to put it up into V tier and leave Nighthaven and Cafe down in C tier. I think that's more fitting. Next I have Canal. I like Canal. Canal's really grown on me. It had, quite a change up from its previous version, but it's been quite a long time since that rework, so quite a long time to get used to it, and I think it plays pretty decently. It's kind of awkward because there's like 2 buildings, right, that are connected by the sky bridges, and they really do play like 2 separate buildings, so it's kind of awkward, and plays very differently than a lot of the other ones. So, but I don't think it's necessarily terrible or bad. Quite like this map. I find it to be pretty decently balanced, imperfect, but good. So I think that puts it into B tier for me. I do like it more than Layer and Coastline, so it's gonna go top of B tier. Next up we have Oregon. This is my favorite map in the game. I think it's super balanced, and it's super fun to play. I think sometimes we take Siege really seriously, obviously, and I do as well, and it's all about like, oh, how balanced this map is, you know, and how good is it. And I think that Oregon is just, while being balanced, quite balanced, not maybe as good as Clubhouse is, but it's a lot more fun to play. There's just something about it that is just more enjoyable. The way you attack it, the way you defend it, the simplicity of it almost, where it's kind of a smaller map. I really enjoy all of that, and that's what's going to put it S tier, my favorite map. And it's honestly really not that close. Oregon's been my favorite map for like ever. I don't know, I just love that map, so it's gonna go top of S tier for me. Next we have Outback. I hate this stupid map. It's really large, annoying to push on attack. Defense isn't that fun either. It's a lot of like awkwardness, right? So like the main site, you have to hold that wall, but you can't bandit trick it because they can get you from the windows. Then you try to cade, and then it's just, but then there's a drone hole underneath, so then you have to watch out for that. Like there's just so many different things that can get that off of the wall, and they just kind of usually get it open, and there's just not really a lot of places to sit, while there's lots of sides for them to push. They can push in through games or picnic or the stairs or bunks or bathroom, and it's just like, it gets kind of overwhelming on defense fast. And so that would kind of be how I put it. It's just overwhelming with runouts, with so many points of entry, with all of those kinds of things. I am not a fan, so it's gonna go into D tier for me. Would I rather play Consulate? Yeah, probably. I probably would. I do not like Outback. Next up we have Skyscraper. Skyscraper, I liked old Skyscraper, and then I kind of struggled adjusting to the new Skyscraper, but I've come around to it. It's definitely think better of it than I used to. Still not my favorite map, but it's okay. It's all right. I think it's gonna put it into C tier for me. Don't know if I'd want to play it over Cafe, but I think it's okay. I would definitely play it over some of those other maps, and I think there definitely are worse maps in the game than that, so that's gonna put it into C tier, just very middle of the road for me. It's all right. Next we have Theme Park. Theme Park, I actually have fun playing this map. Well, correction. I find it to be a massively defender favored map, and I have fun playing defense on this map, maybe for that reason. So it can be kind of enjoyable, but if I'm attacking first, I especially want to ban this map. It's honestly just not that good. It just objectively isn't very balanced, and it is not fun to attack on. So this is a map where like you will have, you'll attack first and you'll go down 0-3, and you can come back and win 3 rounds straight without a doubt, because it is that defender favorite. So it's okay. I would still rather play it over Outback and Consulate, but I think it's going to go D tier for me. If I'm defending first, it probably shoots up the list. I probably would play it over Cafe, but if I'm attacking first, I don't want to play it at all. So I think that's going to put it into D tier for me. And last but not least, we have Villa. Villa is a solid and balanced map. I don't have a ton of fun on it. I think it's okay, and I think it's kind of a 2-site favored map, and I find it to be kind of large. Like the whole basement is just like wasted, like it's just wasted space. So I think that's kind of unfortunate, but I think overall it plays quite well, and I kind of like how it's like oriented, how it's set up, the different hallways and the pushes on the different 90s and stuff. I think works quite well, so I think that's gonna go up into B or A tier. I think it'll go into A tier for me. I think it is on par with Bank Chalet. I think it fits right in there. Quite a good map, not my favorite, so it's gonna go A tier for me. And that concludes the list. Oregon's my favorite map, and Emerald Plains is my least favorite. I don't think that's that shocking, and I think a lot of players would say the same thing. And tell me your favorite map. And I know some of you have some weird picks, because I have friends who have weird picks. I got a buddy who loves Outback, and I don't know what's wrong with him, but there's a lot wrong with him, I'll tell you what. Just let me know in the comments what your favorite map is, and I'll see you next time.